because as per usual, I am insane. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video, we are going to be doing my May TBR. Alright, before you get into anything bookish, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what is a book you're really looking forward to in May. Oh, right. Good morning, citizen. I have been tasked with informing you of your Galacticthon mission. Please do your best to keep up and save all questions until the end. At this point in time, there are currently 4 ships traveling through this section of the galaxy. The explorers are led by myself as well as my captain. However, there are also the inorganic AIs, the fleeing aliens, and, excuse my language, but the damn pirates. Though each of these ships do have their own stories and orders, the galaxy is a lot smaller than you would expect, so be prepared to come across any of them at any time. Not a single one of these ships can run without cooperation, and everybody on board has their orders. It is up to you which of the 4 ships you decide to board, though I would be sorely disappointed if you decided to squander this wonderful opportunity of joining the Cosmic Vanguard Corps. But whichever ship you decide to board, you must stick with it for the duration of time known as May on Terra. Every single ship will have 5 assignments. Those you should be viewing currently on your datapad. Though you'll receive this list of prompts early, you must complete your primary tasks in order, including those assigned by your navigator, such as myself. You may only submit their completion as they become available in the log, which I will provide for you in the description of this data entry. If you're an overachiever, which you sure look to be, there are additional prompts for you to complete at any time, though you cannot double them up with your previous assignments. Obviously, every ship is different, and each of them will have separate prompts to maintain their course. For example, I myself will be completing Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie, which features cryosleep or suspended animation, at least according to the logs that I have researched from. Then followed by The High Republic Out of Shadows by Justina Ireland, because this series does nothing if not constantly returns to politics. Something published prior to the year 2010 was a little bit difficult for me to get my hands on. However, I have heard that apparently the author K.A. Applegate has made her Animorphs series completely free to find online. I'm sure my brother will be happy to hear that report from my personal logs. I'm fairly certain there is an AI featured in Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, though I'm not quite sure on that one, and if you have any information, I would love for you to assuage my concerns. Finally though, I do think I will be treating myself with Flashfire by TJ Klune, as the first in this series was a good fun time, and I'm hoping we'll be able to take my concerns away from my navigator duties. All relevant information for your mission will be made available in the description of this introductory file, including a chat log, media files for your use, and further explanation of your chosen path. I suppose I did say that you could ask me any questions, so if you do have a pressing matter, please leave that in the comments below. Good luck with your mission, and as I said, I sincerely hope you decide to join us on the Cosmic Vanguard. As usual though, let's start out my TBR by picking a prompt from each of my TBR jars. If you're new here, hi, I have 2 TBR jars. One is for books from my physical shelves, the other is for books from my digital shelves. It kind of just forces me to read books that I wasn't currently prioritizing and finally get them read. Let's start out with the physical one. I scared the crap out of Faith when I did that. I also like to get as down the middle as possible. How I draw. Ooh, a Josh pick. Okay, well, I do like having this, but unfortunately this does mean I'm gonna have to text Josh to pick a book for me. So please hold. He actually responded really quickly, and I don't know if he picked this book because it was the first one on the list, or if he picked this book because I showed him this adorable bat that's on the back. But he went with Dragon Fruit by Micaiah Lucier. This is the Full Moon Book Club pick for the month, so that works out perfectly. I know this is based on Pacific Islander mythology, and that's kind of all I know. I think it's technically a fantasy romance, follows this girl who her father stole a sea dragon egg that was supposed to go to an ailing princess. Because of this, they ended up exiled, but then there's also the Prince of Tamarind, who's recently inherited the throne, which was really unlikely because apparently it's actually a matriarchal society. We love to see it. That sounds fantastic. I'm very excited for this. Not only is it working out for a book club pick, I also grabbed it from Book of the Month, so that'll help me on my Book of the Month challenge. I think Becky gave this a positive review relatively recently. I'm pretty sure it was her. So one way or another, I'm very excited to be picking this one up. Thank you so much, my love. You made this work perfectly. We're gonna go ahead and do my digital TBR jar. And we're gonna go with this one. Oh. Next book in a series. Oh, that works perfectly. I love this. Technically speaking, I could definitely pick a manga. That would work out really well. I could pick a romance audiobook. That would be something I could get through really quickly. But instead, I think what I am gonna do is pick Winter of the Witch by Katherine Arden, because I've been needing to pick this up. When I'm currently filming this, it's still April. I would love to get it read in April, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So this will sort of force me to read it next month. And then that way I officially finish out the series. Perfect, mwah, love it. This is the third book in the Winter Night trilogy by Katherine Arden. I've really been enjoying this. It is based on Russian mythology and is set in, I think, 12th century Russia. Each book so far kind of actually works as a standalone, but they all follow the main character Vasya, who doesn't want to live the life of a traditional woman at this time period. It also doesn't shy away from the realities of its time period. However, so far in the series, I've really enjoyed the connection between religion and the mythology that these people follow, the folklore that's been ingrained into their culture, but at the same time, it sort of pushes against their religious beliefs, and I really like seeing how they interplay within this universe. It's been very cool in that regard. So that works out very perfectly, and like I said, will help me to officially finish out this series. Fingers crossed I actually get to it. All right, let's talk about the remainder of the book clubs that I want to partake in, because as per usual, I am insane and always want to try and partake in every single one. Starting at the top with my book club that I partake in at my local library, we are supposed to be reading a fantasy book that is a alternative history. I am going to be buddy reading She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan with Sam at Griffiths. This book I have tried to read on 2 separate occasions and ended up DNFing it both times. That wasn't because it was a bad book. It wasn't because I wasn't enjoying it. Both times it was because I was reading it in November, and this is a heavier historical fantasy, which just didn't work out when I was trying to blast through as many nonfiction books as I can, while also looking forward to all of my rereads that I was gonna be doing in December. It's one of those scenarios, if like I had a nickel for every time I DNF'd it, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but like it's odd that it happened in the same way twice. However, I'm hopeful to finally actually get it read, not only with the buddy read, where Sam will kind of help me stay on top of it, hopefully, but also by using it for a book club pick, where I'm gonna have to talk about this book. The story is set in 14th century China. Our main character, as well as her brother, had their fortune told. Their brother is supposed to achieve greatness, and she is supposed to achieve nothingness. However, her brother ends up passing from some sort of an illness, and she actually ends up taking on his identity, and then I think attending like a war college or something. That might be incorrect. I have heard a lot of positive things about this book. Both times I've tried previously, it wasn't the right time. Here's hoping this finally works. Then for my romance book club, we are supposed to be reading a enemies to lovers book, which is obviously one of my favorite tropes. The Prospects by K.T. Huffman. This is a sports romance in which we're following a trans man who has recently joined the minor league baseball team, but you know, things aren't going great with one of his teammates. They just can't seem to get along at all. Unfortunately for Jean though, Luis is incredibly attractive, so that just makes things all the worse. I've heard a lot of positive things about this book from people who had advanced reader copies, so I knew I was gonna go out and buy it whenever it first came out. This is the author's debut novel though, so I am a little apprehensive. However, the premise honestly hits on a lot of tags I have searched together when it comes to fan fiction. I actually played baseball when I was younger, so it's one of the few sports I know a fair amount about and can follow quite well, but also queer romance, forced proximity, enemies to lovers, say less. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Then for the Story Continued book club, which is hosted by Paige at the PM Reader, who I will link in the description down below. Love her. Definitely recommend giving her a follow. She has Lilith by Nikki Marmee as the May pick, which I'm very excited about. First off, I've heard a lot of positive things about this book. It is a Jewish mythology retelling in which we're following Lilith, the first wife of Adam. All I gotta know, I've heard it has a lot of feminist themes. Love to see those. The cover, I mean, the cover is stunning. I can't wait to read this one, especially off of Has Been Hotel and the little bits of Lilith that we've seen and had referenced there. Will I be playing that soundtrack constantly while reading the book? A strong possibility. Of course, I have 2 Star Wars books I am planning to get read. First one is Out of the Shadows by Justina Ireland. This is one of the young adult ones, and in this we are following a woman who has taken over her family's shipping business, but things are getting harder and harder. There was already a fair amount of debt, and then now the 𝗖ście are becoming a bigger problem, attacking many of their ships. So she is really just doing her best. On a trip to Coruscant, she unfortunately gets involved in this squabble between two very powerful families who are arguing over the section of space and which family it belongs to, I guess. I'm not really sure. But she does not want to be involved in it. However, she gets pulled in a little bit further when she ends up running into some Jedi as well as their Padawans, one of which we have seen previously, 𝗖ście, and I am intrigued to see more of him, especially off of the struggles he started to experience in the last book he was in. Lastly, I have Tempest Runner by Cavan Scott, which is actually an auto drama rather than a novel. So this will be interesting because the last auto drama, I had some issues with it, mostly because it was a audio drama. We'll see if it works out better for me here when I know that going into it. This one literally doesn't have a summary on Goodreads, but I can see that it is apparently following Lorna D, who is one of the 3 heads of the mafia that are involved in the 𝗖ście. I do love that the Star Wars books so far do give us perspectives of the villains and actually make them well-created characters in addition to the heroes. So that will be very interesting. Lorna D, I remember her, but I didn't have too much interest there. So we'll see if maybe some of these next books will build up on her character, if she's just gonna be the main focus in Tempest Runner. I don't know, we'll find out together. All right, y'all, and on that note, that is it for today. Thank you so much for going to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have all my socials as well as a few ways you can support me linked in the description. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!